Hi, welcome to another edition of Spectrum of the Arts. Today we'll take you to the famed Salvador Dali Museum in downtown St. Petersburg for a look at the latest surrealist art exhibit featuring some of the work of Pinellas County middle and high school students.
It is a show that actually it's 33 years old. It was begun in the 80s. The museum was in its infancy. It was done initially just with Pinellas County, and it has since grown to be a show for Pinellas County, then Hillsborough, and then finally we actually have added a state show 3 years ago. We are able to feature 100 students working in the ideas and concepts and sometimes techniques that are associated with Salvador Dali and his colleagues in the surrealist movement. So it's about dreams, it's about imagination. There's a lot of skill involved, but most importantly, it's the idea that leads the piece.
Peter, how do you go about deciding upon a theme for the surrealistic exhibition?
What we do whenever we're thinking about these new shows is we try to think what would be the broadest net we could throw while still at the same time maintaining an allegiance to the ideas of surrealism. And at some point we may start repeating earlier themes, but so far it's been 5 years in the new building that we've had particular themes, and we've actually been able to change them each year and find ways to connect with the spirit of surrealism, but also provide some really open avenues for students to explore their imagination without too much restriction. You know, and for us, the most important thing is that we see ourselves as very unique in relation to, say, the Scholastic Art Exhibition, which is a very broad exhibition focused really on technical expertise. And it's one of the most exciting things that we have that in the area. So we see ourselves as distinct because it's really the idea that comes first and foremost, and the adherence to this idea of the imagination and the unconscious and dreams. So yeah, so between surrealist self-portraiture, surrealist mythology, the grotesque and the fantastic, there's still there's a number of themes we can still explore going forward. There's a lot of pride. You know, there's great work from all the middle and high school students in what they created. Their families celebrate it. Many times the families have never been to the Dali Museum, so it's an opportunity for us to make new friends. And they will often make a really wonderful evening of it. So they'll come, they'll get photos of their child with their particular piece they created, they'll get them with their teachers if they're here, and then often they'll wind up you know, seeing our exhibitions upstairs, shop in the gift store, go out for dinner. So it's a really wonderful thing, and it's all based on the work that the student has created.
With the theme being that it's focused on surrealism, is there any other nuances part of that? Is there like a sub-theme? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have this big umbrella, surrealism, which means basically you know, capturing your dreams, capturing your unconscious. And what we do each year is we more or less tailor the theme more specifically to an aspect. Like last year it was surrealist self-portraits. The year before it was surrealism and mythology. This year it's the marvelous, the fantastic, and the grotesque.
Wow.
And so what's wonderful is like it is such a broad category that there are so many different ways of approaching it that, you know, every student has an avenue in to really shine in this show.
What happens after that with as far as the teachers submit the work, of course, to the Visual Arts Office for Pinellas County Schools, and then what happens after that? Well,
you know, the teacher creates a curriculum. So every year, almost every visual arts teacher, middle and high, will participate. They will do a week or two on this show. Then the work's submitted. They will choose, I believe, 8 pieces each teacher. It's submitted to the county administrative building. And then there's a group of their peers, 4 teachers, who come in and they adjudicate the show. And so between 600 to 800 pieces are submitted. They all are judged on a 1 to 4 scale, focused on technique, ideas, clarity of thought, the overall piece. And then what happens is out of that, we may have 150 that receive highest marks. And then we have to come in and choose 100 pieces to represent the show, because that's the amount that we can accommodate in this space. It's exciting because it's just amazing to see how much has been done, and it is frustrating not being able to include everything that is possible.
But you're limited with space, and then also the frame itself. I noticed the frames are kind of small. Why is that?
so we can accommodate 100 pieces.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it actually it has to do with trying to make sure that as many students as possible can be represented and seen by our visitors here at the museum. So by doing this very tight, precise scale, on the one hand, it allows us to accommodate more students. On the other hand, it actually kind of focuses the project. I'd say that once we went to a regulated scale, the work increased in its quality.
Wow, and Dali was known for very large works and also very small works.
Very tiny, tiny
very
miniatures.
tiny details.
Yeah.
So this is, I look at these and I just think to myself, wow, Dali must be just smiling from above, just looking at these pieces going, wow.
It is such an amazing
How many
thing.
hairs were on that brush?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we are very, very proud of this show, and we look forward to it just growing by leaps and bounds over the next few years to decades.
Tell us about sponsorship. You guys have sponsors or partners that work with this show to make it happen? Because I know there's a lot of people involved with.
Yeah, this show actually has changed over the years. Sometimes we have specific partners. Sometimes we have sponsors who will sponsor a variety of different things at the museum. But there are always sponsors that are most interested in the show because it represents the students of Pinellas County. And that's so important not only to us, but also to the people who help support this museum. So it's a great collaboration between us and the Pinellas County Schools, and it's a great opportunity for people in the community to step forward and assist it to make it continue to happen. We have maintained a free policy for actually for any field trip school groups to come to the museum. It's just a matter of if the time is available, there's a free slot for you. We accommodate small groups. I believe it's 30 groups, 30 people per group. So I believe every morning we can accommodate 60 students on free field trips. I know Pinellas County has been very generous to the Visual Arts Department to make buses available for free to school groups wanting to come to the museum. So we get a lot of people visiting, but we would love to increase the number of students that we have coming on our free field trips.
How do you make sure that the students, see age-appropriate content here at the museum?
Well, the main thing we do is we work with our guides, our docents. And our docents are the ones who take charge and they take the lead of the group. And we have a number of docents that are very comfortable with different age groups. So we have some docents that are great with high school students, and those would be the ones who would be taking any high school groups arriving. We have some that are great with elementary school students. And so it's really important for us to be able to know the age group and to find the right docent, and that's something we take very seriously, and we're very proud of, that we have docents that are very good with age appropriateness. The thing that we're really proud of here in Pinellas is that on Thursday evenings, we roll down our prices. So we have a very affordable price for our community.
This is Pinellas County residents, or?
Well, it's actually anybody.
Anybody.
But we think of it as being really about community rather than visitors from out of town, because it's an opportunity to come back. So normally we have our parking lot has a fee. Thursday nights it's free. The fee to get into the museum is very affordable. It's much less than half for a ticket. And it's a time when we get a lot of local community people coming in repeated visits. So to see our new exhibitions, to see events that we have going on, lectures, poetry, movies. So there's a lot of things happening on Thursday nights that make it a good night for locals to come to the area, to the museum. We're making not one, but actually 2 videos for middle and high school students. And it's for everybody here in Florida, for all the teachers in Florida that do these shows. The first one's going to be, what is surrealism? And in about 8 minutes, we're going to summarize the highlights and the key ideas associated with the surrealist movement. So who are the key players? What kind of work did they do? What sort of techniques did they use? And historically, when did it begin and end? And then the second film we're doing is, how do you make a work for this exhibition? So how do I make a surrealist art work for the student show?
Our teachers will love that.
Our teachers are going to
They
be
love
our main
any tools that they can have their students look at and learn more about how to do something better.
And they're going to be the stars of the show. So they're going to be the ones who share their secrets, their trade secrets about how do you not only get into this exhibition, which we have some teachers who have been part of it for 20 years, but how do you win the exhibition? You know, we have 18 students that are selected every year to receive an additional award. You know, they've already made it through all the hurdles, but then there's a final series of honorable mention, merit, and excellent awards. And there are certain teachers that always are the ones that their students win. So those are the teachers we're going to be talking to, and I'm really excited to get this finished and share it with teachers.